so not actually live yet.
We got the fawns back there.
Yeah, lots of finger pointing going on.
Take it easy. She has to use the washroom.
Yeah, that's
all right,
true.
so welcome to LinkedIn Live. Welcome to Live at Epiphan on LinkedIn Live, YouTube, and Facebook.
Yeah.
And wherever else it might be, just streaming. I don't know. I just opened it up for everywhere. But it's Thursday at 3 o'clock.
Is it?
And it's Live at Epiphan.
Yeah.
I love that stinger.
Live at Epiphan. This is episode number 115. Not a big marker, but a good number. And as Cameron sort of suggested, we are experimenting today with a stream to LinkedIn Live. I think we're probably going to end up doing a show more about LinkedIn Live down the road. Needless to say,
in a couple of weeks, we're going to have one of our friends from LinkedIn Live right here in the office.
So I should hold my opinions until then?
Yeah, exactly. Well, just write all your feedback down so we can crumple it up in a little ball and throw it away.
Yeah, okay.
But no, we are on LinkedIn Live. So if you are watching us on LinkedIn Live, if you are encountering any issues, please throw them up on the chat. We're not actually monitoring the LinkedIn Live chat today because we haven't bridged that gap yet. But we will be looking at that in the future and, of course, providing our feedback because we are part of the beta program for LinkedIn Live, which is pretty cool.
We are, of course, monitoring YouTube chat, or at least I am. So I'm staring at that here. And Danny thinks we're muted. So I don't know what's happening there. But we see levels here. So is anyone else not getting audio? Or is it only Danny? Because I see levels on my monitor.
We have levels on the monitor, and we did test that earlier. But we can kind of just stall for a second.
Yeah,
why don't you bring up the thing, and we'll test it out on there.
Bring up the thing in the.
Did we introduce the title of the show? I don't think so.
We didn't.
Today we're actually going to be talking about YouTube metrics and what you need to know. So getting to know your YouTube live metric analytics. Sorry, your YouTube stream analytics. So this is something that I'm not super duper familiar with, but our king of digital, our digital director, Jordan, gave me a crash course yesterday, and I've been doing a little bit of research, and it's definitely something that we're going to be taking a closer look at in the future, and just making sure that we're leveraging those features within YouTube to get the most out of our streams and our contents, and yada yada.
And of course, Jordan's not here to do the show himself, so
yeah, he's getting his eardrums blown out right now in Montreal.
Exactly.
At the F1.
So instead, you get Harry and Lloyd. We're definitely getting audio.
Yeah, we've got audio on there, so we're good.
Yeah. So
it's all good, Lisa.
Danny, not sure
Take
what's
a breath.
going on there, but okay. Anyway,
Danny Gristle, check the mute button.
We're good.
On your keyboard there.
No, I think Lisa did something. Let's just go with that. I don't know.
in doubt. Oh,
there's a lot of finger pointing going on earlier.
Poor Lisa.
Anyway, let's see.
Our usual suspects on the
news, so obviously
today?
Danny was there, Linda's there, Fixed Assets there, Tim Trott there, of course.
Tim Trott. I was actually in touch with Tim earlier. He was showing off a new logo. He sent me an email to say how much he liked our thumbnail today.
That looks pretty slick, Tim. And Faithful Mess is in chat as well. Clarence in chat. Actually,
Faithful Mess, I've been checking out your Instagram account. A lot of really cool content on there. She's really on point with her photos and her socials. So
social stalking, I see.
Hey, man, it's all out there.
It's all out there.
It's stalking people in public.
Yeah. So thanks, everyone, for joining us. I see Marta as well. So perfect. Thanks for helping us moderate, Marta, hopefully. Maybe. We're going to have a lot of links where I might end up throwing in chats and in the description later as we hit some of these topics. But thanks, everyone, for joining us. And we'll get to some of these questions that are in there. See, Danny.
Thank you for your honesty, Danny.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us a panic.
Yeah, and of course, Lisa's putting that comment up so that I don't continue to blame her. We're having fun today. It's a little too warm in the office.
It is.
And
women's winter is here.
So, but before we dive in, let's talk about the news. The news.
So we actually got some pretty cool news.
Yeah. So the first one, of course, coming next week. I leave very early Monday morning on a flight to Orlando for Infocom next week. The exhibit runs Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week, but those of us who need to build booths and do such things get to be there a little earlier. So bright and early on Monday, myself and some other team members will be on our way to Orlando to set up for Infocom in Orlando. So if you're considering going to Infocom, please join us, check out the booth. we'll have booth numbers.
I know Tim
places.
is looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And of course, George is going to be doing the live show from Infocom with Phil.
We will be.
So
yes.
that'll be a fun experiment.
So if you want to see some disaster, tune in next week.
You thought last week's episode was bad. Wait till next week. No, it's going to be great. And actually, we're going to team up with our partners from Broadfield, hopefully, and see who else wants to appear on the show. Just grab, like me at NAB, just you find someone in the washroom and say, hey, you want to be on the live show?
Yeah.
Hey, and you got them cornered. They have nowhere to go.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're looking forward to that. It's always a great show. We're really looking forward to meeting with our partners and our customers and everyone else. So looking forward to that. And hopefully the weather is nicer than here.
It's going to be really nice this weekend, but it's always nicer in Florida.
Hopefully.
The forecast of alligators is much higher.
It's true. What other news do we have?
So we've got this little scholarship thing going on. We launched a campaign. I might have kind of forgotten about it for a little bit, but we're kind of bringing some more attention to it. So Epiphan is actually throwing up a scholarship program, and it's open for anyone in the world that attends school and has a GPA. I think we're looking for anyone with a GPA of 3 or higher.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that means. Is that a good number?
GPA is not really
that
a
a good
Canadian
number?
thing,
Just saying yes.
3.0.
3.0.
Okay, sure.
What do you have? What's your GPA?
I have 3.5.
Nice.
I don't even know what that means. Good job.
Good for you. Good for you. Is that out of 10? Because that seems low. But out of 4. Okay, out of 4. Thank you, Zoe.
How was that? Anyway,
I guess
different rant for a different day.
the one
But
out of
yes,
4
but you can go to epiphan.com/scholarship, and we'll make sure we put that link in places.
We will.
And check that out for anyone who's in school and wants to get a little.
And if you know anyone that might be interested, please share.
Yeah.
You will have to write a small essay about live streaming and how live streaming can benefit you and yada yada. But check out the details online.
We like helping students in lots of ways. We have students from Canadian universities that we bring in from time to time as co-ops. Obviously, Zoe's here, so there's lots of cool things that we'd like to do with students, and scholarships just another one.
They're not just cheap labor.
No, or are they? Anyway, some other news.
So, YouTube banning kids. Oh, no, wait, that's not right. So, YouTube, in its ongoing crackdown efforts to make the world a better place, is not going to be allowing minors to have their own YouTube live streams or live channels without the consent or without the presence of an adult. So, be prepared to see some awkward cutaways to be like a static image of your dad.
This is interesting.
I totally consent to this.
So this news I sent you the other day, and then since then there's been this whole new wave of other YouTube news this week of blocking, banning, demonetizing more risque channels, hateful channel, all these. So there's a ton of stuff. That's
all my hate channels have been wiped out.
Yeah, it's kind of going wild.
I hate peanut butter. I hate jelly.
Yeah, so it kind of went wild this week, but it started with YouTube saying they didn't want kids to be live streaming, and what qualifies as that seems to be under 13 years of age.
Yeah. So that's what YouTube considers a minor. So I think 13 is more of like a global minor number versus like 18 or 19.
I mean, I would have called 16 myself, but I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, but there are some interesting things.
Georgia number of minors.
Yeah, but it's interesting. So anyone who was letting their child run wild live streaming on YouTube, you're going to have to rein them in a bit.
Or just have like a B cam and just you could be sitting on the couch. Exactly. Yeah, I'm watching.
Or you could just not let your kids live stream until they're actually adults.
But is the content going to be as interesting when they're adults? I don't want to watch an 18-year-old play with Lego and unbox toys.
I play with Lego now. Anyway.
I'm still seeing some freezing on our Pearl.
Yeah.
That was an issue that we had last week. We thought we fixed it, but it looks like we're still getting a little bit of freezing on it.
Yeah, which is weird. Anyway. Some other news, and this was bigger stuff that just happened today, and I spent a bit of time looking at this, was Google gave us a lot more information about Stadia.
Very cool.
A while ago we mentioned this in a news piece. Stadia is essentially Google going after the gaming console market without the gaming console. So in the way that it's relevant to live streaming is that essentially you're streaming the game in the sense that all the processing power is being done in the cloud on the Google server side, and you're just pulling the content down into various different ways and playing a game without physically having a console.
So the console is going to be sitting in a server farm, like the console, right? It's going to be working on
giant
an instance,
server
on a processor, and you're going to be streaming that signal. So you don't need anything more than just a screen and the internet.
Yes and no.
Yeah, that may be oversimplified.
Yeah. So there's a few things here, and we got a ton more information today about it, including pre-orders for the Founders Edition, which is sort of the first part that's rolling out.
Founders Edition.
Yeah, exactly.
Early Founders. I'm going to get in trouble later.
Exactly. But essentially, they ran a proof of concept a while back called Project Stream, and it went really, really well. Then they talked about Stadia, gave it a brand name, talked about that. Everyone was excited. Now they gave us a lot more, including pricing, availability, countries that are going to get it, and so on and so on.
Well, and just to double back on what George was talking about, the project streaming, they actually did 1080 at 60 frames per second on a whole bunch of different devices. So laptops, Chromebooks, they were were they streaming to actual Chromecasts as well? So Chromecast, so really good proof of concept, and there was no lag. And what they're going for is just that instant view, so that you can see exactly what's happening on the server.
Well, exactly.
And you can't have lag if you're playing a video game. You can't have lag.
No, you can't. And so I think it's still yet to be seen how well this technology works. But we do know now that you can use Stadia in anything that has a Chrome browser. So laptops, desktops, phones to a degree. There will be a dedicated app for Pixel 3s.
And sorry, George, does it matter how much of a processor you have in these?
It doesn't seem to.
Laptops,
no.
right? Because you're just streaming.
Because it's all the heavy work is being done server side.
Yeah.
And then Chromecast is also supported. And the Chromecast one is the one that I'm really interested in, because obviously a Chromecast is generally plugged into your TV, which is also where you would traditionally plug in a console. So to use Chromecast, of course, you can't use mouse or keyboard or even an Xbox controller that you can easily plug into a Windows PC. You can't use that on a Chromecast. So what do? Google has controllers that they've created that connect to your Wi-Fi network and communicate directly over the internet from the controller to the server, not even running through the Chromecast box.
So it's an Internet of Things device.
Yeah.
It connects right to
This
your
is
Wi-Fi.
the whole thing
and then
is
it's talking to
Internet
your
of
Chromecast
Things.
at the same time. That's very
Yeah.
cool. Lisa, can you actually throw us up on that other
bigger
layout,
view.
and we can get in this the laptop one, and that'll show kind of what the numbers are for this.
Yeah, so this is a
this is where
screenshot.
George isn't buying it.
Yeah, this is a screenshot that I took during the presentation, and essentially this is what they're saying the bandwidth requirements are. So if you get the Stadia Pro, which is a paid subscription account, $10 a month US, you can get up to 4K HDR 60 frames per second. They claim that you can do that with only a 35 meg connection. Mathematically, that doesn't quite line up in my mind, but we'll see. I mean, it depends on what sort of compression they're doing.
I thought there was an asterisk, but it was actually my cursor.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no asterisk.
I'll put my own in there.
Yeah, exactly.
But they say it's also 5.1 surround and a bunch of other stuff.
Well, at $10 a month, that's $100, $120 a year.
Yeah.
That's way less than you're going to be paying for a console, and it's the console that is constantly being upgraded, and depending on the different subscriptions, you have different access to games.
So far, the list of games actually looks pretty good. There's quite a number of AAA titles in there, but also some pretty cool little casual ones.
Right on.
So I think it's a pretty good a way to look at family gaming as well as a little more on the hardcore side.
Well, and you have complete control over these accounts as well, I'd imagine, so you have good parent
It's your Google
parental
account.
controls.
It's your Google account. So $10 a month for the Pro, or there's a non-subscription base where you have to buy the games ad hoc individually for pricing unknown. I suspect it's going to line up with other similar game pricing. The Founders Edition, which you can pre-order right now, is $129 US, but you get a Chromecast Ultra, which is $100 by itself.
Really?
You get a controller, which they sell for $69 by themselves.
Yeah, the add-ons were $60 or $89, right?
And you get a 3-month Pro subscription, so that's $30 right there.
So you'd be stupid not to buy this.
So 160 or 130 US. I'm saying it in US, but the Canadian pricing is obviously much higher.
Well, it came out to $189.
Yeah, with every so it's launching in 14 countries in November this year, and will expand in 2020 to some other countries. The US, Canada, most of Western Europe are all in those first 14.
So the G7 plus 7?
Yeah, the G14.
G14.
Yeah, something like that. But they claim that the Founders Edition is a limited quantity. So if you're interested in this in any way, or your kids might be, It's November. Christmas is around then.
Buy now.
You might want to get pre-orders in on Founders Edition before they sell out, if they will sell out. But yeah, I'm excited for the Chromecast setup. I think it's going to be very cool.
Yeah, we'll see how the rollout is. Hopefully they hit that November target, or else there's going to be a lot of disappointed folks at come Christmas time.
They did a live stream to announce all this stuff today. Google did. So if you want to go onto YouTube and find the video of their announcement, which talks about a lot of the AAA title games that are going to be headlining this launch and everything like that. Some cool stuff in there.
Right on.
Flip the page.
It was a very cool stream as well. Live stream. It looked a little pre-canned to me.
Yeah, maybe we'll take a look at some questions and comments before we dive into our main topic.
I think that sounds like a
that's where we're at here.
Great way for me to get ready.
People saying hi, did all that. Faithful Mess, speaking of beta, do we have YouTube beta? I tried last night but could not figure it out on the X2. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, to be honest.
Well, we're using, we kind of dip into YouTube beta a little bit when we get our show prepped, and for managing assets, we actually do our trimming in YouTube beta because it's a great tool, but I'm not sure how that crosses over to the X2.
Yeah, I mean, from a publishing standpoint, I don't think it's any different.
Yeah, so, it's the same interface on the X2, but...
Live streaming in the beta studio in YouTube kind of sucks because they hide it under layers.
Well, Lisa and I were looking at it. Well, you can get to it the way that we got there, and then there's another tab that actually says live streaming.
I always switch back to classic.
Yeah, it's not very good. Well, it's not very good yet. It's still beta. It's still a beta thing.
Yeah, Linda was asking, do the airlines give you a hard time over tool sets? Well, I don't bring tool sets with me, although I do bring a lot of batteries because we're not allowed to ship batteries anymore, and I'm only allowed to bring batteries as carry-on, so I have a lot of weight in my bags when I travel. My
Ninja wallet credit card tool got confiscated.
Yeah, that got swiped.
I've literally taken it on hundreds of flights,
that got taken.
And they decided in Toronto that I couldn't fly with it anymore. So great gift from my mother-in-law. Really sad to see that leave. But the other tools that I have are just under the tolerance.
Yeah.
Because you can have a shaft only so long on the longest bit or whatever.
Exactly.
But they get out their little ruler and measure it.
Tim was throwing in there, is YouTube splitting off gamers from creators? No, not really. They tried that by launching YouTube Gaming, and no one goes to YouTube Gaming. I actually heard that they might be killing YouTube Gaming because...
That's a thing?
Yeah, because no one uses it. Everyone just goes to regular YouTube. So, I mean, it's also Google. Who knows? They like to change their mind every 5 minutes, so you never know.
The logo is weird. It kind of looks like a heart, but then it also looks like
it's a strange one.
Yeah.
It's a strange one. So looking through there, Linda was complaining her internet provider doesn't even offer that kind of speed. Well, if you live in Gatineau, that's what you get. And let's see. Danny is saying interesting gaming, 0. Yeah, and that's true of a lot of people. But gaming is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Worldwide, it is now a larger industry money-wise than Hollywood. So you can't argue with cash.
Yeah,
it's hard to argue with cash. So that's pretty much it. There's good chatter back and forth. So proceed. And Philip was just saying George will be buying Stadia. Yes, I did. I did pre-order it.
Yep, so did I, and I'll be paying for it later. If you
know we'll see. We'll see.
Now, just looking at our LinkedIn Live chat, I'm not going to be able to throw this up on the screen, but Usel says, when start the event? We're on it.
Yeah.
So if you're still watching, we're on here. So
event is go.
That's the only comment so far, but that's okay. Yeah. And Geraldine said hi, Usel. So thank you, Geraldine.
Yeah.
Now hopefully we'll see some more engagement on there, but I had more engagement when I was testing and accidentally streaming. So hopefully that'll pick up a little bit.
So, on to our main topic.
Yeah, and let's, can we throw the title back up just to remind everyone? So today we're going to be talking about getting to know your YouTube live stream analytics.
And I made the joke earlier about Harry and Lloyd were the characters from Dumb and Dumber, because that's essentially Cameron and I on this topic, especially me. This is something I do not know really anything about. I know where to get to the analytics page.
Can I be Harry?
Sure, he was smarter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But that makes me, the Canadian one. So anyway. Anywho. So Jordan gave you the rundown. So
yeah,
I hope
so Jordan is our digital director here at Epiphan, and he is all things digital. He knows analytics inside and out.
He knows numbers for sure.
Yeah, he knows numbers for sure. One of his tips actually on our live show was the fact that it was running a little bit long, and so that's one of the criteria that we're going to talk about. But Lisa, if you want to just jump us into our laptop layout, I've got our.
I have one big question right at the top.
Okay, hold the layout switch.
Why do we even care?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, no, that is actually a very good question. So, we want to measure our efforts. We want to grow. We want to continue having more viewers. Of course, we love all the viewers that we have, our Lindas and our Faithful Messes and our Tims, but we want to reach more people. We want to have more impact and more engagement.
Okay.
So one of the reasons that folks will look at their YouTube analytics is to see what they're actually doing right.
Okay.
Because you can actually tell, right? Like, previously you'd put a YouTube video out and say, okay, well, this had 1,000 views, great. You do another one, maybe a couple hundred views, but we wouldn't really know why it was performing that way. So now Google has expanded that, YouTube via Google has expanded those metrics. So you can get really deep, even know how people are accessing your video, how much they're watching, when they're leaving, because before those views weren't really reflective of the entire view of the video itself.
So this kind of, in a way, starts to play into the whole SEO thing, I guess. Or an expanded tool set of trying to play those SEO games, which is, again, something I do not know and understand. Victor and Jordan start talking about that stuff, and I'm just like, I gotta go.
Well, and this is where those games really do not apply in the same ways.
Right.
Because you can write a blog post, and you can have all the keywords in there that get the right searches, and you can even hide text in those blogs at the bottom. You could have Ariana Grande and all these extra keywords at the bottom that will bring traffic to your site.
Okay.
Aside from some, Google Analytics cracking down on that in general, they could tell when you're faking these and setting it up in a way to draw people in. But when it comes to a video, if it's not engaging, you're not going to watch it. Right? And so it's harder to kind of use those same SEO tricks.
Okay.
I put keywords into the videos every week, and I
which
hope
is always important. Like, don't skip that.
Exactly, and that is important because someone looking for a specific topic
it also,
will be able to find
it helps build the algorithm for recommended videos.
Exactly. But now in the back end, YouTube is even transcribing the video itself. You can add that on as automated subtitles, and it's adding some of those keywords right to your videos, so it can tell viewers where to look.
Interesting. So, what do we really get from the analytics? Like, it's just a page of numbers. Like, I don't really. Like I say, I know how to get there, but I've never really looked at it.
Well, why don't we pull it up? We're going to look at one of our top performing videos and kind of review some of the criteria on here. So, one of our top performing videos. Oh man.
Thirsty today.
I know, I didn't budget for all this talking in my voice. So one of our highest performing videos is the multi-camera live streaming setups.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun show, actually.
It was a good show, and it was actually very informative, and it garnered a lot of subscribers. It has a lot of engagement. A lot of folks watch this video. We see comments coming in on this video.
You're welcome.
Quite frequently. Yeah, exactly. You're welcome. Oh, man, the Georges were doing something right. Now, as with all of these analytics, you can get really granular as to the date ranges.
Okay.
So the default one that came up was the last 28 days.
Okay.
But if we look at the last 365 days, for example, so we had a peak of 28,000 views on this video. The watch time, it's kind of a vanity number. It doesn't really mean anything, but 165,000 minutes.
Wouldn't the watch time, I guess that's a total watch time, right?
It's the watch time where people are actually watching before they disengage from the video.
But I guess if you break that down and divide that up by the total views and the length of the video, and they show you in a different metric, I think, how long people actually watched that. And I think that's where Jordan was coming from, saying that you and I talk too much and we should shut up.
Well, you start to lose engagement.
Right.
So the number one thing with YouTube videos in general is that people are looking for how-to. Right. So for this video, for example, it's a really good how-to video. It's a multicam live streaming, and you can watch this video and learn how to do multicam live streaming. And it's just like when you want to figure out how to use a door planer, or if you want to figure out how to cook with your new sous vide, you go to YouTube, you find a video, you find the video that has the highest rank, it has the most engagement, that's when you watch, and then you keep adding to that.
Right. For sous vide, it's sous vide everything, by the way.
Sous vide everything done.
Great channel.
Now, for this particular video, and in its entire, or not its entire life, but over the last year, this video alone has brought in over 300 subscribers.
Oh, okay.
So that means
so
that
it does
folks that
show
have
you
searched,
how many people clicked subscribe while watching that video.
Exactly. So folks came in, they watched this video, they said, hey, these guys kind of know what they're talking about. And then they actually, those fools. And then they hit subscribe. Right. So that's another metric that we could take a look at.
Right.
Now,
and I guess the big thing here that doesn't apply to us because we don't monetize our content, but there was a big dollar sign there.
A big goose egg.
Which would tell you how much money this video has made.
That's right.
We don't monetize our stuff. We're a corporate entity, why would we? But if you were creating this as an independent creator, you might be interested in what that number says.
Totally.
I would be.
And obviously there's different ways to get revenue off of YouTube videos. So you can have your pre-roll ads, you can have your mid-roll ads. There's advertisements that come up when you're viewing on a desktop. If you're on mobile, they'll come up before, like I said, the pre-roll ads. So there's a lot of really cool ways you can get revenue. Now, of course, with the changes to Google AdSense, you have to be at a certain level.
Yeah, we talked about that as well, for a variety of different things. Tim making a great point there. Actually, you can't know where you're going until you know where you are. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. And I guess this helps.
Confucius
say. So what other numbers can we get from this?
So another one of the metrics that I was just looking to find in here, there we go. So this one is actually very important. I'm going to try to blow this guy up a little bit. Look how easy that is on my Mac. Wow, just blowing it up there. Couldn't do that on a PC.
Just as easy on anything.
Now, this is actually very important because we want to know where this traffic is coming from.
Right.
So one of the big things that gets you a lot of engagement, and it's really going to put you up higher in that ranking, is being a suggested video. So folks are looking for this content. They want to figure out how am I going to, live streaming. I want to do multi-camera streaming. And so now this video is coming up as a suggested video in other videos. Right. So not just videos that we've produced and we have on our YouTube, but just other videos in general. Right. So they're done watching this live streaming video from, DACast or maybe another provider, and this one comes up at the end. So you wanted to learn about this, how about this one?
Right.
Right, just like when I'm done watching that Abandoned Mansions video, it says, hey, do you want to watch this Abandoned Submarines video? Yeah. And I go, yes, I do.
So one of the numbers in there was external. I'm guessing that one's probably the ones, because we obviously embed these on our own website. So a lot of those numbers are probably coming from there, I'm guessing.
That'll be, emails. It could be, you sending it to someone via
put them
text
in newsletters
message
and stuff like
newsletters.
that.
It could be anything. It also includes some social media as well.
Facebook.
So Facebook. So if you share it, because Facebook and YouTube don't play on there. There's no Facebook metric. Exactly. I'm pointing at it on here as if we can see where I'm pointing. But the so the external one is that.
Right. Okay.
And then other YouTube features, that includes like, sidebar or maybe some of the other searches as well. But that is a very, very important one.
Okay.
We can actually drill down a little bit further into that external. So that external does include Google searches. We see epiphan.com.
That's our embed.
Yeah, so that's our embedded one. YouTube, that one is like the, I think that's the search within YouTube.
Corel.com?
Who is that 0.5%?
What? The guy in the Golden Palace across town is apparently watching 0.5% of that video.
Oh, that's so funny. And George is, of course, referring to the awful menu graphics, I'm guessing, at goldenpalace.com.
No, it's a local Ottawa joke, people. Michael Copeland, founder of Corel, lives in the Golden Palace.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, now this is getting a little bit deeper. So this is the suggested videos. So these are the ones that we can see. So this is this is what it's showing us.
So these are common suggested, top suggested from our video to other things.
Exactly. Or I think from these videos to this video.
Right.
So you're watching the Sling Studio Comprehensive Review, and then it takes you to this one.
Right. Okay, well, if it's people coming from Sling to us, then yes, I agree. That's a good move.
Wasn't this one of our videos, though?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think this is one of our videos. And then playlists. Right. This is where, I think our own playlists are set up. And, and yeah, so this, that's a good thing to know, because you want to understand kind of where these are coming from, so you can focus your efforts. So I would say, obviously, because we have so many coming from Google, then maybe running some more Google ads to bring awareness to our live stream and to our live show or into our content in general would be a smart place to invest more money. Right. Funny that Google is telling us to give Google more money, though. That's kind of an interesting one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. No, that's interesting. So there is a lot of information for the numbers nerds out there, I guess, to figure out. And then I guess you can experiment and see how it impacts these analytics, right? You can kind
Absolutely
of play around with, well, if I did this, maybe these tags, or particular types of content, like you said, length, because the analytics will tell you when people tune out as well, right? So
That's
if you
right.
put up a 45-minute video and everyone left 10 minutes in, then obviously, 10 minutes is all you needed, apparently.
There are heat maps available for the video, so you can see where that drop off is.
Right.
You can look right at the chart and see where kind of people start to drop
And I
off.
think once it, and I only looked at this because I had a video up on YouTube once that that got flagged for copyright and got blocked on mobile and in Germany by default. And so somewhere in the analytics, it also tells you where people are viewing from geographically. So that can be interesting too. Like who's viewing it? Where is it coming from? Is it coming from, if you're an American creator, is it primarily the U.S. or is it coming from somewhere else? So that's always, I found that interesting to see, where that might come from.
Now, don't flip us over back quite yet, but what George is talking about is actually an interesting point. I'm going to bring up a video that I did just on my personal channel, and that one is actually kind of fun. I used to make a little bit of revenue off of it every year, but then of course with
But you don't have 1,000 subs?
yeah, I don't have 1,000 subs, so that fell off. But it was a seasonal video.
Okay.
So I saw spikes in the actual viewership based off of the time of year, which was really cool. Now, if I can find how to get to that really quickly, if not, that's okay too.
Yeah, we can dig into that. I was just going to look at some of the questions in here. Faithful Message is saying that just hit 1K subs this week and haven't decided if I want to do commercials and all that stuff.
Congratulations, Faithful Message. That's awesome.
Some people aren't banking from YouTube. I don't know, got to do some research. Yeah, I mean, YouTube is definitely not paying out the same way it used to. And honestly, well, here's a good point. Looking at the analytics, what are your average views? Like, what are they actually doing? Because the way YouTube, I think, currently is paying out for running ads, you got to be getting a large amount of views consistently to really make any money anymore. It used to be that if you could get 10,000 views per video, you could, and you were doing that weekly, you could make a little bit of pocket money.
You'd see some revenue, and it'd be a monthly thing. You're not working a full-time job.
Now, I think you're to the point where if you're not doing hundreds of thousands of views 3 or 4 times a week, you're not making enough to live on. So maybe you're only looking for pocket change, in which case, sure, why not? Go ahead, see where it takes you. Maybe not do it annoyingly, the way Linda suggested. Interrupting the middle of the stream for an ad is maddening. Maybe don't do that to your viewers.
Well, we had talked about
start out with pre-rolls.
other revenue streams when it comes to doing YouTube.
Yeah.
So because of the restrictions on YouTube, there's nothing stopping you from actually doing a product placement inside your video, right?
Yeah.
And folks that have pre-rolls.
Takes some effort to do that, to get essentially sponsored.
VPN programs, you see a ton of VPN ads, and they're right in the video. So it's not a pre-roll. They talk about it. They say this video is brought to you by...
That's a private sponsorship advertising arrangement that some creators decide to do. There's obviously Patreon. I'm sure lots of people have seen creators plug Patreon, which is essentially crowdfunding for creators. There's some people who go that route. And there's also, if you do a lot of live, just going to Twitch.
Totally. All right, so one last thing before we go. I do have that metric up, so sorry, Lisa, if you can pull us up. This is actually kind of fun. This is probably comparable to the, what is that, Mariah Carey video?
Right. The Christmas stuff.
The Christmas one. So we're looking at the lifetime of this video.
Interesting.
Now, this video itself is an instructional video on how to throw like a white elephant party, or you give a gift and then you take it back and then you can steal from someone else. So it's an instructional video on that.
Right.
Now, the only views that this video gets are over the holidays. So you see it starts to ramp up late November, spikes in
Christmas
December,
Eve.
people fight and realize what a terrible game it is, and then they stop watching. So you only see these spikes every year.
Yeah.
So you can see, and it's actually gone up. What's interesting about this video is that it's gone up incrementally per year.
So people are being more and more awful to each other.
People are being more and more awful. But as this video gets more engagement and gets more credibility, it actually
recommends more.
It's recommended more.
Right.
So when
so
you
it
search,
compounds,
exactly,
exponentially can increase.
When
and I guess that's the goal, right?
That is the goal, because when I used to watch this one a little bit closer, because you can see on there, I made a mad $150 on this video. Don't want to mention how much it cost to produce, but
yeah, exactly. You probably covered 10 seconds of shooting.
Exactly, but I was very focused on what the metric was. So I would search, and then I would have other people search and say, okay, if you look up white elephant on YouTube, what's the ranking? And the ranking has actually gone up. So that's why when you have more engagement, it's more credible. People share it, and the shares, again, I think we covered that, but the shares also give credibility to that video, because that tells YouTube and Google that, like, this is shared. And people find it relevant and legitimate. If it's not being shared, then it doesn't work. And it's the same thing, same kind of thing that you can use to hack Facebook campaigns in general. A like is okay, but a share has way more value than a like.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Because that means that you watched it.
Right.
It was correct, and now you're going to share it.
There was a thing a while ago, I remember seeing that when it came to YouTube engagement, you know, basically any of those things were good. Like, people say, go ahead and dislike my video. I don't care. It does the same thing as a like, because it's just engagement pure. So there was an interesting way of looking at things like that too.
I would say that's probably flipped, right? Because now when they see a dislike, they don't want that coming up. Yeah, I think it
depends on what it is now,
folks.
but yeah, we'll see. Linda was saying, what does YouTube count as you watching in a separate window? It's just, it doesn't matter. It's all a browser. Browser is a browser is a browser on youtube.com. It's all the same.
Does that mean she just has the audio playing in the background? She's not actually actively watching the show?
It seems like, or a second monitor or whatever, but it's still playing. Doesn't matter whether you're staring at that window or not.
I don't know. If you're using Chrome could potentially be sending that data to know what the active window is.
That's true. It theoretically could.
It theoretically could. So you have it on in the background.
But I don't think they monitor that closely, or at least not that they're ever going to admit.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't admit it. And they're also watching you through your camera. So if they could tell that you're not looking right at the screen, then that's a problem too.
Well, exactly. So Danny was just saying, please keep revisiting this topic as a core issue for professional use of Epiphan products. I mean, I think it's core to professional use of social media and YouTube in particular.
Yeah, streaming, content creation.
Absolutely. I mean, anyone playing in this space, you need to know the numbers. Luckily, I think, you know, again, I don't understand this analytic thing that well, but very clearly, unlike other platforms, Google is at least giving you the tool set so you can know what's happening and understand it. Whereas, you know, you look at Twitch, it doesn't have the same level of analytics. You look at YouTube, it doesn't necessarily have the same level of analytics unless, Facebook, unless it's, you know, a corporate page, right? But if you're just running groups or something, you don't get any of this. You get nothing. Or no, of course, you're personal, you get nothing. Yeah, so that's interesting. That's interesting.
I think probably to revisit this episode, though, for Danny, is that we should start doing some experimentation. So one of the things that I found when I was doing research for this episode was the fact that your thumbnail, and this is something that we already knew, but the thumbnail also plays into how you're going to have engagement for your episode. So we try to make sure that we have faces in the thumbnail. That's something that we've learned, is that we get more engagement when there's a face versus just a straight graphic. And there's even folks that experiment, kind of do some A/B testing with, you know, different colors and different content. And maybe if you weren't holding those cameras, if it was just the two cameras, we wouldn't have as much engagement on that video.
People who show pictures of girls in bikinis and make sure it's only in there for one frame.
And so you never ever see that, right?
No, or it's in there for one frame so that it doesn't violate the TOS.
I honestly, my favorite videos to watch are those, like, the dash cam videos of, like, the world's most dangerous roads, and on the video it shows like an 18-wheeler going on like a swing bridge or whatever, and it's never in the video, and I hate that.
It's clickbait. They got you.
I'll scrub the video.
They got you.
Fooled me.
Yeah. No,
all right. Well, sticking with our goal to maintain a shorter episode and continue
shorter,
with our
40-minute instead of 45-minute episode,
or 39, 60.
But you know what? I'm gonna challenge Jordan on this one. Put in the chat in the comments if you prefer these slightly longer episodes versus a shorter episode. If you feel that a 15-minute episode would be better than a 30 or 40-minute episode, throw it into chat. Let's hear the votes.
Well, and one of the reasons why I had us redo the title on this one is because we are going to cut this one down and not have the news segment at the beginning. So we're just going to have that pre-roll.
For sure.
Or just going to have that right into the episode. But we'll revisit this later.
Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Danny just said he bought new Blue FX, and he's pretty impressed with it.
Yeah, and actually, Linda made a good point there. She is willing to spend more time when it's live versus post. And why is that, Linda? Because we're talking, we're answering your questions, we're reading your comments.
The live chat engagement?
Yeah, the live chat engagement, that makes a big difference.
For some, yeah, for sure. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week. Next week, we're going to be live at InfoComm. Hopefully, some of you will see us there. We know we'll see you, Tim.
Yep.
And looking forward to that. And yeah, so we'll enjoy that. Until then, obviously, like this video, subscribe, add to our analytics.
Share, do the share thing.
The share. Follow us on Facebook, and officially follow us on Instagram. For those of you that do the gram.
At Epiphan Video.
And we'll see you out there in the socially things. I'm George.
And I'm Cameron.
We'll see you later.
See ya.